Hey there, fellow gardeners. It's Sarah, and welcome to Maine Garden Travels. We are back at the farm after not being here for quite a while, and I feel like I say that every time I do a video. Today, however, we have bought some end of season Jersey blueberry bushes, and they are just about full grown, and we got them at 20% off. So I can't stress enough how great it is to have your end of season sales and get to them because, 20% off of 4 brings us down to about $30 per bush when they were at about 40. So that was a pretty good deal. So we're going to plant those today out in our second field that has our orchard. And when we got to the garden today, we were shocked at how much there is to be picked. So I'm going to get started with that while James does the mowing to get the grass short and ready for the blueberries. The girls are walking around hot and tired already. Here's a quick scan of the garden. Our weeds have gotten out of control, and I'm not even going to worry about them until we've exhausted the garden for the year. See all these tomatoes. The tomato plants are really tired and exhausted and diseased, but look at those tomatoes back there. They're just so beautiful still. So more canning in our future. Just a madhouse in here. I don't know what happened to our peach tree, but it grew over a week, about doubled in size. Violet. Yum. Stealing snack. Beauties. Stop being mean to each other. Okay, so I didn't expect it, but most of our pumpkins are ready already. And I'm going to show you how to know whether your pumpkins and any other kind of squash are ready to be picked. So as you can tell, our pumpkin and squash patch is just about the messiest looking thing you can find in the garden at the moment. Lots of dying things, especially right here. It's all dead and the vines are all drying up. And so what you're going to see is a nice orange pumpkin. And this one, ew, it has slugs underneath it because it's sitting in the grass. But it is still green here, so I'm going to leave that guy alone. Any pumpkins that have a brown, dried up stalk to them are ones that can be cut off. So this one right here, see how brown that is? It just easily breaks off. And what you're going to do is you're going to leave it outside to cure it so that it's nice. Curing for squash or pumpkin hardens the outside of the pumpkin, so that you can bring it inside and put it in a cool space for the winter and keep it for when you need it in the winter. So this guy will sit out here for at least a week, probably 2 before we take it inside. This butternut squash is it's becoming a nice nutty color. You can see that the stem here is turning brown, so I am going to take that, and it snaps off so easily that I know that it's ready. I'm also going to leave this one to cure for at least a week. And the shell will be so hard on this that it'll not be, you won't be able to stick your fingernail in it and it won't bruise. And that's how you know it'll be ready to come inside. We did have some pumpkins that were trellised up onto our fence, which seemed to work really good. They did end up going over the fence and through the fence. You can see out there it goes into the grass. It's a butternut squash right next to another pumpkin. But as you can tell, these stems are still green. Even though the leaves are starting to die back, we're going to leave them, let them hopefully get a little bit bigger. We've been waiting for quite a while on our eggplant this year. But I think they're finally coming along. I think I see some more in there. There's a little eggplant. I'm gonna leave that one a little bit longer. See if we see any more in here. This year's eggplant didn't do quite as well as last year's. Not really sure why, but the plants look strong. I wonder if they were just over fertilized and produce nice green plants without too much fruit. Possibly. The sunflower is so tall. But at the base of it, I didn't expect to find any more cucumbers. Oh, look at that guy. He is.
Whoa. It's bigger than I thought it was.
Hold it.
It's bigger than my head.
Much bigger than your head. I did find this really cool eggplant. I think it must have been wrapping itself around something. Pretty cool. Might be difficult to cook with. We'll see. The greenhouse is so full, I don't even dare to go in. So these little pumpkins out here, I didn't even remember were here. But they're dried out and ready to be picked too. We get a lot of produce in this garden every year, but this year it's just amazing. I don't know if it's a combination of the amendments that we add or if it's the weather or what, but this should be really dying back, and I'm loving it. But you know, it's a lot more work in September for us than we had planned. My favorite flower, mine are zinnias, and I didn't even discover them until last year, and I absolutely love them. They bring in so many bees, and I plant them right in the center of our garden so it attracts as many bees as possible. I was holding on to the zucchini as long as I could.
One mess to the next.
But they're really dead, so I'm gonna pull these out. We sometimes get a second crop in the fall of zucchini, but I think we've had some hot weather. And we've gotten some vine borers. It's time. Wow, those are some long roots. As I pull these up, a good reminder for you guys, just in case you didn't know, if you have zucchini or squash or anything really that looks to be diseased, or if it has some unknown bug, the best thing to do is burn it. This will not go in our compost.
First carrot of the season.
Our carrots. It's one of the first things we seem to plant, and my goodness, it takes forever. Yeah.
That's creepy.
I remember I was going to show you our watering system before. So what we do is we have a well, and the well typically runs almost dry by the end of the summer. So we got these olive barrels for how much a piece? Maybe $20? $22 a piece. And we take them in our trailer, pulled by my beast of a car, and we take it down to the lake where we have a place, but no, we take it to the public boat launch too. And we take that pump that he just took out and we put it in the lake, and we pump the water into the barrels, drive the barrels up here, and then we have these giant barrels of water. And then when we get here, he puts the pump back in and he fills up our rain barrels because we don't get a lot of rain in the summer up here. So once that's full, we'll be able to use the little tap. So we can either hose everything down, which works obviously the fastest, or we have a little nozzle, little tap on the end there, and we can fill watering cans for fertilizing and that sort of thing. And we have 1, 2, and 3 barrels in here, and really we get all the water that we need. Okay, so as far as watering inside, it's a little difficult to show you because I can't seem to back up enough. Our greenhouse is not huge, so it's not a ton of space, but what we have is a hydroponic tray, and these are some of our fall seedlings that are growing. The carrots are really taking off and the lettuce looks good. I even have my little orange tree in the back there. And so what we do is this is also on a pump. And we have a barrel of water underneath. You can see that, which also is hard to see. Violet's pointing to the barrel of water. And in there is a pump. And the pump is set on a timer to go off every morning at 9 a.m. So while we're not here, which we only come up maybe once a week, maybe twice, this tray will flood at 9 a.m. every day. And then after it's flooded, this little mechanism here keeps the water from collecting in this, and it will drain back into the bucket. So as you can see, the bucket is, the soil in the bucket, or the water in the bucket, excuse me, is very dark, and it's got some soil and some other nutrients that come off the plants as the water drains back into it. And so what a good thing to do with that water is to take it out every now and then in buckets or in watering cans and water the other plants, because these are all in beds in soil, and it gives them some of the nutrients that was in the bucket from the water that was sucked out of the tray. Pretty easy. The only thing you have to do is make sure you know how to use the pump, and if you want it on a timer so you don't have to come out and turn it on every day, then the timer makes it really handy. All right, farm boy, time to wrap it up.
Okay, shut the door. Our theft deterrent system.
And that's a wrap. See you next time.